Staff Sergeant Morgan, he's another instructor that we have.
It's equipped in all the trucks that you're going to be driving this next couple weeks. So there's a couple short videos that kind of explain it, and then Sergeant Morgan's kind of go into detail a little bit on it, and then we'll see it when we get out on the trucks also. So basically, by the time you guys hook up with the 1244th and head out driving, you'll see this stuff that we handed out at least 3 times. It'll be the 3rd time that you've seen it. So repetitious is good. Start sinking in, and then pretty soon you can throw those sheets away. So. All right, any questions?
Okay. What you're seeing in this manual is also the exact same thing that you'll see on the laptops. Okay, it's just don't be concerned with the lab. Stand down? Yeah.
Okay, good.
Fuel out of both of them at the same time, where that one just takes it out of one tank. But when you fill them, you have to fill both sides. Okay? So when you fill this one, you have to turn around and fill that one.
You drained it out of both?
You have
All right, so I'm going to stand about right here. You just face me and look at me.
Okay, sounds good.
And so to start, I'll have you say and spell your first and last name.
Okay, Randy Tollefson, RandyTollefson.
And which unit are you representing?
I'm with the 2nd of the 196 Regional Training Institute.
Perfect. And so I'll just get right into it. Is this type of training more difficult or easier to teach with soldiers from foreign countries?
I don't think the foreign country is an issue at all. These guys are actually experienced vehicle operators from their country, so it's basically just teaching them a familiarization of maybe some of the differences between our vehicles and their vehicles, and the similarities basically. So it'd be easy. It's actually a little easier just because they're experienced on it, and they can pick up the differences a lot easier than somebody who hasn't operated a vehicle before. So you're going over, it's like a 101 course with them. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't know that they already had experience in their phone.
Okay. Yep.
So that's cool.
Yep, they're vehicle operators in the UK. So.
Awesome. So what do you enjoy about training foreign soldiers?
Well, this is the first time I ever did it, and it's actually interesting to know their, I won't even say capabilities, but experience and the types of vehicles that they do and the type of missions that they run, and some of the differences and a lot of the similarities basically. So it's interesting to get that different perspective.
And have you faced any challenges, or what challenges do you anticipate to face?
We haven't seen any challenges yet, as far as we've gone so far. I think it helped that they are operators on different types of equipment, but a lot of it's all similar and just minor differences. So
Perfect.
Don't foresee any challenges coming up.
Okay. And so why do you think this kind of training is important, and how does it benefit the South Dakota Army-National-Guard?
Oh, when you get overseas missions and everything, and the world that we live in today, I think we're going to see a lot more multinational training together, and it just gets them familiar with us and us familiar with them. It's just some of the, back to the similarities and the differences, to where the first time we don't train with different countries is when we're in a hot zone basically, and then we got to figure out the differences, and here we're going to know going into if we would actually serve beside the United Kingdom in a foreign land.
that, so you get to be more prepared at least.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. And just lastly, is there anything you'd like to add that I haven't asked you?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so go ahead and say and spell your first and last name.
It's James Sinclair, and it's Juliet Alpha Mike Echo Sierra India November Charlie Lima Alpha India Romeo.
Perfect. All right, and Staff Sergeant, what unit are you representing?
It's 154 Regiment Scottish Transport Regiment RLC. I'm part of 230 Transport Squadron, which is a sub-unit of 154 Transport Regiment, and I'm the MT Senior NCO within that sub-unit.
Perfect. So, from your perspective, how is this training beneficial to your mission overseas?
Personally, it's working with our allies. It's seeing different bits of equipment. It's challenging for the guys. It's something different other than driving our own bits of kit. We're getting to see the real life task with the log task, moving the logs up to the reservation, and it's pretty much seeing how you guys work as well, because to be fair, we do a lot of work together, especially in operations, and it gives the guys an insight as well to how you operate in your SOPs and stuff like that, and how they're similar to us, which we're finding out with the vehicle platforms that we're looking at today.
Awesome. So do you anticipate like seeing and using American equipment in the future?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we've got some guys coming over in September to us for an annual camp in Germany, which the guys are going on. So I think we've got 90 soldiers for the 12th and 44th coming over to work alongside us and use our platforms as well. So I anticipate that this is going to be quite a strong friendship. We're bonding here and utilising it and working together quite a lot in the future.
That's awesome. And what piece of knowledge that you've learned today do you find most useful and why?
To be fair, it's the similarity between the vehicle maintenance for the guys, because the guys were a bit apprehensive when they came here. New truck, new equipment, will we have time to learn how to use this equipment? And once they sat down and looked at the procedures with the vehicle, they're very, very similar to ours. It just looks different. So the guys are relating back to what they do on a day-to-day basis when they're on operations or they're driving their trucks, and they can see all they're doing is the same thing but with different equipment there. So that's the kind of knowledge the guys are getting now, and it's lifting a bit off them, a bit of a weight off them, because again they were a bit apprehensive when they came out thinking what's it going to be like, and now they've a very, very ease, which will be good for when they're driving these platforms on the highways.
Well, and that's one thing someone was telling me too, is that in reality the equipment is kind of similar, and it's nice that y'all do this where you're from as well. So coming over here, you know, you're just jumping into similar equipment and stuff. So
it just looks a bit different, that's all.
So what do you enjoy most about this interoperability?
I mean, I think I can answer that with one of the other questions. It's working alongside guys that we could probably be working alongside with on operations, seeing how other forces work, other nations work, and potentially adapting some of our SOPs, taking a bit of best practice back with us, and utilising knowledge for our doing back at home.
You bet. Has there been any challenges, or is there what's been most difficult?
I think being most difficult is moving the regiment from start to finish to get over here. Bearing in mind the guys are reserves, so we don't have much time with these guys. We've got them 2.5 hours a week, and to move them pretty much across the water to here with all the kind of insurance liabilities, the training liabilities, making sure the guys are medically fit. It's been a task and a half, and potentially, I mean, I was on the trip down here last night to get the guys down on the bus, and it was a long haul for them, and they're here this morning, nice and bright, learning about trucks. I think that's been the biggest kind of the hardest thing is getting us over here. But now we're here, the guys are just going to crack on with it, I think.
You bet. At least you got some good weather here too.
I mean, it's certainly not like this in Scotland. We've certainly not brought the weather with us, but it's good. It's been good. Trying to acclimatise to it. So before the training began, what did you expect to learn today? I wasn't quite sure. I had looked at the platform online, to look at it. It's very similar to some of the equipment that we've got in the British Army, but not equipment that we have within the regiment. And what I expected today was a lot of tired soldiers, because I knew they were coming in last night, and potentially a little bit of not interest for the guys, but they've seen the kit. Again, they've looked at the similarities between the working practices and the maintenance of this kit, and they've realised that it's not going to be such a hard task. So the anticipation was that the guys would struggle a bit, but they've not. They've came through in spades, they've turned it in spades, and they're getting amongst it, which is good to see, because it means they're starting to get geared up and ready. They're starting to get their exercise head on, and envisage that when they hit Elmsworth, they'll be ready to go and an asset to the 1244th.
Well, it seems like they're enjoying it and pretty motivated, which is good.
Aye. They always are when they come out.
So how does American equipment, you've been saying there's some similarities, so how does American equipment compare to the equipment you use?
I think it's more to do with the maintenance and the upkeep of the equipment. I mean, if it's broke, then we fix it. And I think with the way you look after your kit as well, it's just very, very similar to us, like fluids, tyres, like visible damage, and things like that. It's all very similar. I mean, the similarity stops when you actually look at the piece of equipment itself. And a lot of the guys are saying there, driving's driving. They'll pretty much drive anything, kind of thing. But just they were a bit apprehensive about driving a new piece of equipment. But now they've seen it, they're much at ease. So that's probably answers that one.
Perfect. And how do you anticipate to use this training in the future?
I don't quite know. I just think it'll provide the guys with a bit more knowledge on different tasks, because certainly we don't move the 40-foot trailers, we don't move the logs. Something we don't really get involved in is real life tasks back in the UK, unless there's been like a natural disaster or something like that. So the utilisation for the training for the guys will be it's just something different for them. It will give them more experience, especially with the bigger loads. And if it does come that they have to go and drive one of your bigger bits of equipment, they'll have the experience of driving that on your highways. And I think that's what the guys will take away from that.
Yeah, and I think it's just cool to see the camaraderie being built too between the allies. I think that's awesome.
Massively,
yeah.
Massively. As long as everybody's smiling, the jobs are getting done, aren't they?
My last question for you is there anything else you'd like to add that I haven't asked you?
No, I'd just like to say I'm very glad to be here, working alongside. I mean, not just the Americans, you've got the Danish here, the Canadians as well, and I think it's opened my eyes a wee bit as well to the multinational kind of effort that's going to go into this exercise. Before that, I mean, I've done a bit of research on Coyote, and I didn't realise the magnitude of the operation. It's been running for 32 years, and it's a massive operation with a lot of nations joining together, right, to provide this real life support, which I think is a very good cause. And I'm very happy to be here, and I think I speak for the rest of the regiment that they're ready to go, and they want to get out there.
Well, that's awesome. I